Should be being the operative phrase there.
What's
Yeah, I'm impressed with Discord.
Is it live?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Pins is like you are live. Yes.
I don't know. I'm not the lead on this. I'm so unused to it. I don't know how to start, so I'm gonna let Blue start.
That's a dangerous thing. I figure we'll wait until Bife gets in, because then I'm sure as soon as Bife jumps in, it's going to disrupt all the cameras and it's going to break everything, and someone's going to get put in the center again.
It's exciting.
Have you guys been having trouble with Twitch chat today?
We had trouble with it on Friday. It crapped out all over the place. I know that it was like, thankfully Streamlabs.
Welcome to.
Yeah, thankfully
room.
Streamlabs kept like reconnecting for us, so I didn't have to do too much on my end. But I think we had 3 disconnects on Twitch's side. It was really weird, which means that I'm gonna have to download and re-upload all the videos, because it's not gonna be a clean archive.
Which channel are you streaming from?
Just the Focus Fire chat one for right now.
Word.
Well, if we've got 5 minutes, I might make a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're live. Like,
yeah, go make. Yeah. Go
but
make.
Like, aren't we still?
I'm on
waiting?
I'm on the second half of the first pot of coffee, so go for it.
Oh my god.
I mean,
Just
no,
take
I don't
the
have
camera
to
with
if
you.
we've started, but I feel like we haven't started even though we're live. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
You
That's
are
how,
correct.
That's how Loose Cannon always feels. It's just like, we're like, are we live? Yeah, I think we're live. We're pretty sure.
Yeah,
Let's talk like this for 10 minutes.
I think we're recording, right? No, okay.
Close enough.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for this, though, just in general, since we're not like really diving in until Bife gets to join us. I'm really excited for this. I've wanted to do something like this for years now, like since the Taken King.
Mm-hmm.
And like I used to pester Matt all the time about it, and Maxer all the time about
as
it.
he walks away, he's like, I'm done. Pins, yeah. As per normal FFC standard, you have at least 30 minutes before we actually get going, so don't worry.
Yeah, it's very exciting to be able to get, even if it's not everyone that like I'd like to be here. It's just so many people all together. It's so exciting.
Yeah, that's really cool. And it's an interesting time as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely play with Discord though, because this video thing has gotten. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with Discord's change, because when I remember when we first started with Discord, the audio stuff was like the pretty much the thing, because their video. Well, they didn't have video at first, and then they did, and it was like there was no synchronization between the cameras at all. It was just like, here's full screen. Who's currently talking, which made it like watching it was like it was a headache.
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, we've used.
Does everyone know they're supposed to be here?
Yeah.
I mean,
oh god.
Maybe.
Oh, there goes Guardian.
Matt's front and center.
Matt's front and center. Okay, so we got the Streamlabs chair in place of Matt.
Oh, that is a Streamlabs chair. I gotta ask him about that.
Or secret lab, is that? Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah. That is a streamer chair. Streamer perks chair.
There he is.
Oh, Guardian.
Oh, he's got his video.
Hey.
Oh, you know what I just realized? I'm sorry.
What?
He forgot his mustache.
Matt's alive.
Matt's back, but we lost a non-pig. So,
Yeah.
no.
They're trading off at this point.
On my screen, there's somebody who's just like spinning.
It might. Someone might be joining in. I don't know. I don't know how Discord works on the video front.
Okay,
Hey
now
Guardian, I got a
bunch.
bunch of background noise on yours.
Yeah, that's what reminded me to go turn off my AC.
I have nothing happening. Let me try something.
There's nothing going on.
Let me try it because I think it was the echo cancellation that was causing voice problems.
Yeah, but that was your
Jet
voice cutting
engine,
out.
turn
not
it off.
feedback.
Yeah.
That sounds better.
Yeah, that's definitely
Yeah, there
better.
you go.
Okay.
Ta-da!
Trying to figure it out so it doesn't block my own voice.
Well, so I can't wait for Bife entirely. So let me ask you guys. We know Season of the Undying is first, and then Season of the Dawn or Season of Dawn is after.
Is it
What do you
of Dawn
think?
or is it the
It's
Dawn?
of Dawn.
It's of Dawn?
or-
Okay.
I mean, maybe they'll change it, but it
Right,
was said
right,
to
right.
be of Dawn.
Okay.
So
Of
what do you
Joseph?
think that means?
I hope Fallen.
Maybe.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because I mean, you have like the House of Light and the House of Dusk and all that, and it's like you've seen that kind of transitioning there. I mean, and also, oh yeah, there's another one.
Damn it!
I told you it was gonna distract me as soon as it happened. I'm like, oh.
So that would be.
Is that there's Bife? It's
Hey,
Bife.
there's Bife. Look at that. We got
I would
Big Mac.
expect it to be Fallen. Yeah, because I mean that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's a
Because-
good point.
Because we've had Cabal, and then we've had well, now it's going to be like a Hive take or a Vex combo. I mean, it has been
Hive
a
is
little while.
Shadowkeep. Vex is Undying. They
Yeah,
are separate.
fair. Yeah,
Even if dropping in the same time frame, it's
Mhm.
going to be a really interesting twist.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that.
all right, who are we missing? Green.
That'd be it. Oh yeah, except for Green.
Green. Okay, and she said she was going to be under the weather. All right, and I will fix the overlay for next time because, like I said, I wasn't ready for Discord. I didn't know how the video thing. So, Guardian, on my side, you're cut off by the notes, and I apologize for that.
Just get low.
Just yeah.
Lower.
If I could just like reposition the like take the squares and move them around. All right, so yeah, like basically this is gonna be really informal. It's really just we had such a blast doing this at GuardianCon, and we have like every year we've done it. And it was one of those things where I was talking to Green, and then we started talking to Baxter, and then kind of just everybody. We already have a group chat going for everyone who was on the panel, so we just started bringing more and more people in, and it was like, why not just do it like at least once a quarter, just on our own, because it's especially the Q&A section was such I thought it was so much fun. I thought it was such a good excuse for us to, first off, just get to sit down and chat with each other. And yeah, and this also gives us a chance to actually like pay attention to the Twitch chat, which I know for the panel we didn't have a chance. We didn't have a chance to review the Twitch chat, which is weird for us because when we do our podcast, that's like 40-50% of our interaction on the podcast is with the Twitch chat. So doing stuff without a Twitch chat scrolling is kind of weird for us. But yeah, I mean, that's really my intro. So the idea behind this one is going to be, it's an informal conversation. If you're tuning in to the archive, the idea is like, this isn't going to, we'll be streaming it probably through the Focus Fire Chat channel for now, just because that's what I have all my stuff set up on. But it's not going to be like any particular one. It's kind of what we started. The Lore Network was really to kind of give everyone who does lore work or, content creation throughout, not just Destiny, everything, just a central place, a central hub to kind of come together. And that's really, this is a culmination of kind of that idea. So it's just a really informal conversation. Now with Destiny, we just happen to have this giant document that Baxter and Anon and I think everyone else really kind of put together. I'm just using it because it was there and I will use it. So we have a format already kind of already made, so that we figured we'd just start with that. But real quick, just a round of introductions. We have on the screen right now in chat, we have Bife. I don't think Bife needs too much of an introduction. If you don't know who Bife is, I don't know what to tell you. Like I don't know. How this is Destiny lore, so go find My Name's Bife on YouTube.
They're all Martin fans.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So the #1 lore channel that's like half asleep right now is Mylan.
I'm at my weakest point. This is you can make your move.
So there we have on the far side of the screen we have Bife, and then we have Rhino, who is the only scamless one right now. He's being very sneaky. We have Mylan Games, or Matt as we will refer to him, and then next to me we have Anon Pig and Baxter and Guardian, and I believe so Rhino, Anon, Baxter, and Guardian. You guys are all on Loose Cannon, correct?
Yes.
Okay, can one of you, I don't know which one of you wants to do it. Do you want to give a rundown of what Loose Cannon, just for anyone who's pinging in, it might not be over?
Anon it should be Anon.
It should be Anon. Okay, Anon, go.
I think you're muted, Anon.
No, you're muted.
Thank you.
It shouldn't have been Anon. Anon was the wrong choice.
Should have told him.
Loose Cannon. Loose Cannon is the best, absolutely best bicentennial lore live show / podcast. We are every other Sunday, which wouldn't have been this Sunday, but we decided let's all just come here and hang out with a bunch of friends and have like a big time. It is also very, I guess informal is a nice way to phrase it. We don't have a script. We just wanted to be a group of friends that come and talk lore every so often. So every other week, every other Sunday morning, and that's it. We try to stay topical, but we always get off topic.
Yeah.
I think that when we were talking about making the show, we kind of said it should be like a Sunday morning. Type.
Troy and Abed in the morning. Yeah. Because it was gonna be me and Baxter. That was my original vision for it.
Yeah.
So basically I'm with Focus Fire Chat, and also I admin the Lore Network, so we're also a podcast. So we have Mylan and Bife, who are from our YouTube. They are YouTube experts. Like anytime I have a question about YouTube's logarithm, which changes every day, I ask Bife, and he gives me a really happy answer about the logic there. Rhino also does the Destiny Armory Defined. Rhino,
Yes.
do you want to run us through what that one is real quick, just to kind of give people an idea?
It started out as lore cards on Twitter through my own Twitter account, and it kind of expanded. I just ran out of space basically when I was defining these things. So I decided, well, why not start dumping them onto a website that I created called Destiny Army Defined. It's always evolving. It's always a work in progress. It'll probably never be full, but every time I come up with a definition, or I'm wondering what something is in Destiny, I define it, throw it up there. And a lot of times you'll be able to catch those on Thursday on Twitter. You'll see them. They'll come out as lore cards. So that's basically what that is. It's just to help people understand, when they look at an item and they see a word they don't know what that means, it just helps them figure it out.
Awesome. And then Matt, I completely skipped over Destiny Down Under. You guys, do a podcast as well, and actually, you guys had a pretty big announcement this week. So, do you want to give us a rundown quick on what that was, just in case anyone didn't hear it?
It's been a busy couple of weeks actually. We've been working with Bungie to get them out to PAX in Australia, Melbourne. So I think it's their first time official sort of presence. They don't have a Bungie store or Bungie booth, but they're pretty much supporting the community. So it's with a panel, we're sort of co-hosting a panel with another podcast crew. And then we also got a community event as well. We've got Eris Moyler coming out as well, and a dev. So lots of Aussies very excited. You know, you guys have heard me complain about the trip to the US many a times. And it is brutal. It is
so Matt's
I get
forcing
to see,
them
like,
to
what
experience.
the US looks like. Yeah. I get them to see what it's like coming back the other way. But, you know, all jokes aside, it goes a long way with the community, like, to feel included. I know it's a silly thing, but geographically being isolated, it does, you know, it does make you feel isolated from the community. So it goes a really long way to see Bungie coming out this way. So it's, we've already sold we've reached capacity for the the community event already. So we're going to have to ask. We're going to have to ask Bungie. We're like, we did it within half a day. So we're going to go. You got any bigger places? And by the way, Australians like to drink fucking heaps of beer. So
No. So
yeah, it's really cool.
yeah, I mean that's really, so that's where, like, that's kind of our formal introductions. We're all, obviously, you can tell, we've all been really communicating behind the scenes, and Anon, and you know, we were talking about that a little bit before we started recording. This is nothing that's really new for any of us as far as like the conversations. This is actually something that all of us probably individually have wanted to kind of get together, so, and just have an excuse to chat for, you know, a couple hours. So with that, Baxter, you did such an amazing job with the Q&A, keeping everyone on top of the topics. I'm just going to turn it really kind of over to you. Do you want to just continue the Q&A session from Guardian Con, or I guess what is it, Gaming Community Expo now?
Yeah.
Is that the official name for it? It's always going to be Guardian Con.
Yeah.
GC. It's nice in between.
I mean, yeah, I'm happy. So, like, you know, on the on the little thing that we did, I guess we got through like 5.
We got through 5.
97 to go.
Yeah. We got through 5, and didn't we add 4 more at the same time?
Maybe. I mean, we took some steps forward. There may have been some steps back, you know, but I mean, we made progress. Progress was made. That's what's important.
It's a net positive, and that's what
yeah.
Yes.
No, I don't know. Did we make a net positive, or did we just add more questions?
It's hard. Okay, I'm pretty sure that looking at the page, there's some that we crossed off. So
how about
we did? Well, so the funny thing is the one.
Yeah,
the
man,
one that,
did we add?
Yeah, where did the ones? I don't know. The funny one is the question that we have, that you have next, this Vexed Network Gates. We just got tweeted at yesterday about this actual thing about the 7th chest. I don't know if you guys saw that joke.
I just want to let you know, no one can read that.
Oh, no one can?
What do you mean?
Nah.
No, on the stream, yeah. It's
yeah.
This is, so just for the record, this is an old archive overlay that I had for note-taking streams. I didn't know how Discord was going to present the video stuff. And so, sorry, Guardian. We're hiding you. We're hiding you with the node archives. It will be fixed for next time. I will fix the overlay next time. But the question that Baxter, you had next is, do Vexed Network Gates converge to the same place, or are they as individual as lands? Oh, there. All right, Rhino left. Bye. Every time it's going to distract me that it does this snap thing. But we just got tweeted at about the Garden of Salvation and a network gate going back to the Vault of Glass and giving us the 7th chest.
I mean, that would be amazing. That
Inside would be... Which is a super good advice, which totally how it works. It's from another timeline where Bahanin went back.
Yeah, well, I mean, should we discuss that then? I mean so this was Matthew Crowley submitted the question: do Vex network gates converge to the same place, or are they as individual as lands? Could Saint 14, the 114th exo clone of Kioma Essie, Atheon and Osiris all bump into one another.
Wasn't that kind of the purpose? What was it called? House of Wolves, Venus.
Mhm.
We were able to glitch into it. Remember that Guardian, the tall place that I compared to a train
The
station?
Spire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because the
The
Vault of
Citadel.
Glass.
The Citadel.
The Vault of
Yeah,
Glass
no,
itself.
The Vex,
Well, behind the
Yeah.
Citadel.
yeah, the Citadel above. Right?
Yeah, because it had a name that was basically saying like all these Vex gates are coming to this point.
Oh, that's right. There was like a terminal. It was like
That's what it was. It was
Yeah,
the
terminal.
Wasn't it the terminal?
Terminus.
Terminus.
It was like a terminal. No, it was actually called terminal.
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought that they're all. I don't know what. Even if they're not all literally part of the same, like, you know, even if there are two gates that are kind of linked to each other, I would have thought that they must end up in a, you know, by
Well,
following.
Wasn't that
jumping
Vault
through
of
them.
Glass? Vault of Glass was basically the confluence of them all, right? I mean, it was an
That was
Atheon.
Atheon.
Atheon's like the gatekeeper. Well, the train conductor, I guess, would be the best way of like
His
every
time
single.
confluence.
Yeah. That.
Yeah,
I just pulled
That's
a
his
map.
name.
yeah.
Isn't he
But
like
was
a
the Vault of Glass
confluence of
connected to
stuff?
the rest? Isn't the Vault of Glass like an infinite forest in a way where it's not connected to the outside world, but it's its own like isolated pocket world?
Mhm.
But how do you guys consider? Do you say that the gates are one in the same for their time travel, or is the Vex gate network like its separate thing within each sort of timeline, and then there's one that jumps between them all? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
are they
I
going
mean,
between time every time they go through a portal, or are they just transporting within that timeline?
Well, 'cause
and then there's
that-
something else.
Well, I
Doesn't
go
that
through
beg-
time every time I go through a doorway.
What's that?
Listen.
Well, hold on.
You can't step in the same river twice. Okay.
So real quick, so gates don't travel through time always. We have the Hunter
Right.
quest from Taken King
Oh.
that started on Venus and took us through the giant gate into, wasn't
The
that
Black Garden.
we entered the Black Garden?
Mhm.
Yes.
Did we go through the
for
gate?
shadow shot for the
Mhm.
Night
Yeah.
Stalker. Yeah, it goes to the Black Garden.
Did we go through the gate
Yes.
to get to the Black
Yeah.
Garden?
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty
because
sure.
that's where
Yeah.
I think that's where Tevis was.
Yeah.
That's where he was
Yeah.
dead.
Because I mean,
So
you
there is
go-
a connection to the Black Garden from outside.
So you go
But-
through the
but we-
gate, but because of the way that Destiny works, the loading scene is a ship. So
Mm. don't question. So don't question.
Oh god.
It was a hallucination.
Mhm.
You just felt much
With
more comfortable
meditation.
seeing.
I have never noticed that before until you just said that. Now you've ruined it.
your
Took all the
immersion,
magic out of it.
it's gone.
I'm quitting. I quit.
But I don't.
Um,
As Guardians, we've never traveled through time, right?
I mean, Vault of
No.
Glass.
Vault of Glass,
Well, okay,
technically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
technically in the Vault, yeah. Although
Like,
that's
But-
and Black, and Black
that's
Garden.
perspective.
Black Garden technically
was
was.
it
Mhm.
time or just transport?
Well, and that's the other thing is it actually time travel or is it being simulated? Because that's a vastly different thing too. Because even in the Infinite
Yeah,
Forest, it's just simulations of probabilities.
Well,
So
yeah, I was going to
Vault
say
of
we
Glass
went
was
to the
isolated.
dark. We went to the dark future, but that was a simulation of a dark
Right.
future, wasn't it?
Right.
Mm.
Where there was
I'm
no
still not
light. No.
entirely sure that the Vex even can time travel.
That's kind of my point is like, are they actually time traveling or are they just calculating probabilities? And then, which begs the question House of Wolves though, too, because you have the whole thing with Skolas pulling. the-
Skolas definitely
different
pulled
fallen.
in through time. Yeah.
But that
I
then
think-
also falls apart with regards to Vogue and Curse of Osiris, because even though only in Vogue is the places where you encounter the Precursor Vex and the
Right.
Descendant Vex, they appear on Mercury outside of the Infinite Forest.
So my
it's
my
gotta be a time
counter-
travel element.
Well, but my counter to that is, though, if it's not time travel, then the other thing that it could be is multi-dimensions. Because multi-dimensional travel does not equate into time travel. I mean, you can have dimensions that are in different places within a timeline, theoretically, and that's not time travel, but you are... Because that's the other thing is, like, there's the... it's the entry from the Ghost Stories where the Guardian is stuck in the Almighty, and this ghost can't resurrect him. And
No
they
rest for the
mention
weary.
no rest for the weary, yeah. And
Yeah,
like he
yeah.
and I think it's the Future War Cult mentions there's like, well, there's no timeline or there's no dimension in which you can resurrect him from. And so if you have a multi-dimensional model, which we've seen hinted at too, that could be, you know, then you could see Skolas pulling wolves from other dimensions, not necessarily other times. And the Vex being simulation basis. It's not, again, it's because time travel is like such more problematic than multi-dimensional travel, which makes my head hurt even saying that.
This is why I hate time travel.
Yeah, no, right. It's like the grandfather paradox, right? It's like that's a huge problem. Whereas with dimensional travel, it's still a problem, but it's not as big of a problem. If you
would you say you had time to explain?
Oh God! You want to start? Let's talk about string theory and chaos theory because that's going to be a painful.
Don't do that.
That's going to be about as fun as unraveling a ball of wool.
Yeah.
So,
it's
honestly though, if you're talking time travel versus interdimensional, I think something else that potentially plays towards interdimensional is whether or not you believe what happened in the Books of Sorrow with regards to Crota, then like creating a hole that lets the Vex through. Right? Because if that's so, then maybe it is an interdimensional thing because the ascendant plane potentially gets better explained that way.
Right,
and
that's
itself is
and
that's
more
a whole
to
other mess. But like, yeah, it's worth thinking of.
More to support the interdimensional idea is that the Future War Cult was built from the remnants of the Golden Age, where they basically reverse engineered like Vex technology, and they were like, "Oh, we can see into other timelines now."
The viewing platforms.
So clearly, the Vex are seeing other timelines.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, when you go back to the Vault of Glass, Atheon is time's confluence, but it doesn't really make sense that like time is just going through Atheon. It makes more sense that Atheon is connected to all of the timelines, like all the parallel timelines. Atheon is the pin between them. So by destroying Atheon, that was the ultimate goal. We took out that pin that was holding the Vex on every timeline. Now maybe they can only predict 10 instead of an infinite number. You know, like how whatever value
you've taken the strings off the loom.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that. To me, there's not really a question whether interdimensional travel or multiple dimensions exist. Even, you know, all of the information that we have, you know, I often think of the Exo Stranger card. Or one of the Exo Stranger cards where, you know, she talks about meeting the Guardian and how there are hints that in this timeline, the things that the Guardian does is slightly different, and then she also travels through time. You know, her sequence of events is not the same as our sequence of events because she's jumping through time to interact with the Guardian. So I think that there's evidence that there is multiple dimensions and also time travel.
Right, but I mean, I guess
both exist.
But I guess my argument there is like, is it that she's experiencing a different? I mean, her experience. Oh God, my brain hurts. It's way too early in the morning for me to do this. Is because by jumping into different dimensions, you're going to experience, because there's multiple theories on multidimensional creation, right? One of which is like every option you get that splinters the reality into to take into account each option. And so like each variable right
into a different branch.
Right. And so like if that's the case, if we have like a true multidimensional fracture going on, you know, the experience that she's recording as far as chasms and bridges and all that doesn't necessarily, I go back again, it doesn't mean that time travel is happening. It means that she's literally stepping from a plane of existence to another plane of existence in which the options chosen were not the same, which means that the outcome changed. It doesn't. Now from her original one, which begs the question: what's the original? Is there original world? But it again, I would just say, you know, pointing back, that's not time travel. That is literally stepping sideways into.
Yeah, I agree, but I also think that the fact that we encounter the Exo Stranger sequentially is an argument that actually it is time travel. That that we have these two records of events. One of them is the record of the event that the Guardian experiences, and the other from this Grimoire card is the series of events that the Exo Stranger experiences. And I would say the fact that I mean, you're totally right. It could, if we only had the Exo Strangers series of events, then we might be able to say, okay, well, we don't know that there's anybody in that timeline that she could be jumping through multiple different branches. Right. But I think the fact that we encounter her sequentially kind of implies to me that she is on our branch and she's moving backwards and forwards on our branch. Now I know that, as you say, every individual decision creates a new branch, but there's something about the single line that she's on, that she's moving forwards and backwards between.
Well, let's put it this way. She's navigating you onto the line of events, or helping you navigate that timeline through those branches in order to, find the one that works.
Right. And I would also say, is it the fact that she's actually time traveling, or is it our experience that she is time traveling? Because
she's definitely time traveling,
because perception is not necessarily reality.
That's what I mean. Yeah. That's what I mean. Is our perception. Now, I'm not saying from our perspective, yes, she is time traveling, but this is where relativism starts making your brain really hurt when it comes to
multidimension. Even from her perspective, she's definitely time traveling though. That's what I mean. The card that Baxter is referencing is the Ghost Fragment, the Exo Stranger 2, and so each entry is titled Record 08 for Bridge 10.7, etc., and the numbers go up and down. Mm-hmm. And so it first talks about seeing us on the moon, and then it's like, okay, I followed that all the way back as far as I can go, and that's to the point of our resurrection, where she talks about, I follow the light as far back as I can go. Let the little one guide me through fallen as I puzzle out what the hive want in the bones of this broken cosmodrome. And then she says, back to the temple again, but this time the little one knows I'm here. So she went moon, cosmodrome, moon. She went back and forth. That's definitely
my brain hurts because the other explanation for not being time travel is infinite forest.
Yeah.
So what was the original question?
I've got a pretty solid prophecy of the future.
Oh no!
And that is we're gonna cover a total of half a question to our podcast.
Right.
I love your optimism.
Thank you for the Vex. Who started time travel as the first goddamn question?
I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we start with. Honestly, there's going to be something.
So we cross that one off and add 5 more.
The original question was, do Vex network gates converge to the same place?
Oh, so we didn't even have to talk about time travel.
No, but the reason that we started talking about time travel is because, do gates only travel across space, or do they also travel across time?
Yes.
Actually, I think that was me that brought that up too, so I have to blame myself.
Yes.
It's okay. We blame you as well.
So we spend half an hour on one question, come back, re-ask it. It takes 5 seconds to answer it the second time.
We needed the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
What is time?
So what did we decide with regards to
conflux, not confluence?
I was thinking it was conflux, but then I wasn't confident enough to.
Oh man, it's bright in here.
I mean, it's.
I'm purely assuming that Vex gates operate the same as Stargates from Stargate. Yes! So I'm just assuming they can do both. Just you have to
hit the solar. The solar flare has to. Yeah, the solar flare has to happen for time travel.
So they all connect. They all have coordinates. They all connect to each other if you can, and then you can also do time travel if you do some crazy wonky stuff.
There you go.
So there's actually interesting line from the Pyramidion strike from Ikora, which is basically that the Pyramidion has a bunch of different realities sort of layered on top of it, and that potentially maybe there are other Pyramidians on other worlds, and maybe they all connect to one central place. So if that's the case, maybe that gives us an idea. Pyramidion obviously being a far bigger structure than a Vexgate, but still potentially gives us this notion of the Vex have one central place that they all operate from. And it's kind of the criticality, the hub, the very center of the mind. But
the gates are the trains, and the Pyramidions are the train stations.
Yeah. But by that same token, who knows, right? Like, it's very, very unknown whether any of that will actually stick and whether any of it actually holds up. Because, you know, even when the cards for Atheon is put out there, it's all blanket speculation. They say, we don't know damn. We don't know anything, right? So
remember that old Atheon entry that was his final thoughts? That was cool.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Wait, what?
The one with the taken blights that were on Twilight Gap.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, that was just a cool one. It just made me think of that.
That one was kind of a funny one because it had like a play on words. I don't have it in front of me, but there was something really interesting about that one. I have to revisit that, but there was some intentional verbiage used to kind of throw us down a rabbit hole.
You don't say.
The Vex being tongue twisty and confusing.
Rabbit holes.
Rabbit.
So I think, getting back to the question, that all of the gates do converge to the same place.
Can.
Well, yeah, it can. But it's like you know, all roads. I don't know. I feel as though. Yeah, I feel as though that the Vex had to have started from somewhere, and like they've spread out so much at this point that it is a network. It's not just a road. But I do think that you know, like if you follow the road,
I should have just let you finish.
Next question.
Sorry, I don't have that. I couldn't find the thing again, so I don't know.
That is the sigh of a defeated man.
He's literally about to wrap this question up, and Anon jumps in and says something.
I'm gonna let you finish, but first.
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay, shall we go to the next question?
What a wonderful idea!
Right.
In another timeline / dimension, we've already done that 10,893 times.
That's crazy.
It's so exciting.
Do you think we can time travel to that point?
No.
No.
Next question from ATG. Ever since the Traveler woke up again, did it do anything? And how exactly did people learn things from the Traveler and usher into the Golden Age? Did it speak to them, or did they study it, or was it something else? So there's kind of two questions there. I think the first question, which is quite straightforward, which is, since the Traveler woke up, did it do anything? And I mean, there was the whole experience that we went through on Io, which was like, it seemed to have been like that was the at least according to Akora, that was the Traveler communicating with us in its own way.
It also woke up those really cool shark fin ships.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
you know, I have a law script that I named Triangle Ships, and it triggers me every time I try to find it because I
tetrahedrons.
Because I try to type in
triangles of 2 dimensions.
I try to type in my pyramid ship to search my Word documents, and I'm like, why is it not coming up? And it's because it's like written as triangle ships.
It's interesting. When you're frustrated, you sound a bit like Callus.
I hear it.
He needs to go and take a relax in the baths.
Oh.
Join the soldiers in their revelry. They won't mind.
No. That makes me so uncomfortable to think about.
But so the second half of that question, though, like, how did people learn in the golden age? I'm curious what you guys think, because like that's like a huge empty spot in like our knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, even like I'm pretty sure it's the dialogue that's like, and human lifespan tripled. You're like, but how? Was that just the medicine advancements
that sounds like
we
a
made?
horrible thing to happen.
Or was it just, from the traveler itself? And yeah, I don't know. I don't know of anything that talks about
the
interaction between the traveler and humanity.
Well, and here's just a random thought too, is like humans, whenever we encounter something, we like taking it apart. I mean, just as a thought exercise, we don't know that the parts of the traveler that are exposed was because of damage done.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's assumed. It's a safe assumption, but like the parts where the girders. Well, but like the girders that you can see on the underside, we don't know that was because of anything. I mean, and if you look at historical humanity, when they encounter something,
a piece broke off.
Right. But I mean, like historically, humanity finds a new creature, and they're like, oh, what the very first thing they do is let's kill it and take it apart. It's like, okay, I mean, there's a scientific reason for like watching, like, but I mean, like, especially with like alien life and stuff like that, I could totally see there being a situation where they're like, oh, hey, look, a giant ball. Let's see what's inside it.
Was there anything with Jacob Hardy's law when they first made contact that had any sort of clues about communicating with the traveler?
I believe it's Jacob Hardy 4 that gives us any insight at all, because 3 is all about Mars. Actually, the mission on Ares 1. Whereas if you're actually looking, it's Ghost Fragment Human 4. It's got a few details about what he's now studying. Again, talks about how he's 90 years old. Talks about how he's got a reasonably cognizant mind, etc.
Because I think that's the confirmation too that we saw, that it was very quick that human life was tripled because it was within Jacob's lifetime. And if you take that into consideration, that he was probably already in, the second half of his life when they went to the Mars trip, that's going to be a pretty quick turnaround for him to be able to then say, oh yeah, I'm like, what was it, like 90, 95? And he's like still able to calculate the slippery irreality of light and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
So there was a pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah.
My assumption was always that it was kind of like a default evolution, where with the traveler, we see what light does to a guardian. So what if by default, when the guardian was awake or the traveler was awake, the light kind of spread out, and everyone who came in contact that just like their brain and physiology like evolved.
Right,
and that's what caused all of that.
But if you also the other thing too that you could see there is if light is equivalent, and we kind of talked about this in one of the recent episodes we did, but if you look at light as like a equivalent of like what's referred to as anima, or like a life force, if you increase the presence of that life force, of course you're going to have a longer lifespan. And if the traveler's actually like pulsating out pure light, which is the life force, then human existence would then, grow based off that. It's maybe just an unconscious effect of being around something that is the source of that light.
Like radiation.
An inverse of radiation, basically. Yeah, good radiation, like which is opposite. Weird saying. It's like it's basically a beneficial Chernobyl.
It's a Chernobyl.
Chernobyl. Okay, yeah, there you go. The other thing too, Guardian, you were saying that the other thing that you could take into consideration is we might not have been the only ones experimenting. The traveler could have been experimenting on us.
Yeah. I mean, because we know that the Fallen also evolved to a certain point. Right. So we know there's something going on, but I always just kind of assumed that it was more of like, if you have like the positive radiation, like your synapses are allowed to grow more, they're allowed to connect. Like your brain can evolve and understand a lot more. And when your brain, like when you can evolve mentally, you can see things differently and understand. It's like Einstein, like just his brain understood things differently. So if all of light then controls, like changes our brains and how it thinks, that would explain how we evolved so much with technology. Is we started seeing things differently. And on top of that, seeing the Traveler terraform and like create things and do its own thing on other planets also allows humans to study that and reverse engineer it to a certain extent.
Right.
It's like the one note we get.
Would you say that we also got like, sorry, Bife gone?
No, it's all good. Just really quick notes. The one thing that Jacob Hardy says is, I'm involved in a project to study the Traveler's terraforming actions right now. So they are studying it. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, terraforming stuff. I was just going to say, do you think we got extra elements when the Traveler arrived? The elements that didn't exist before that allowed certain materials to be made and certain technologies to be developed? Because I just started to think about the Golden Age weapons. I'm like, would have they existed before? Like
something there, because when the Bray family and they talk about Daito and they talk about the mysteries of what was happening before as far as technological advancement, but we were, as humanity was propelled into this great awakening where we discovered all these different tools at our disposal. I think those elemental things that we encounter were very much a part of that awakening. Like you can only perceive what you can visually see, but we were awakened, so we are now able to see a myriad of new things around us. And one of those many tools are, in my mind, the elements or the elemental aspects of the game.
Yeah, because I mean, that's like when I know we were just talking about that in Discord about the relic crystals and how that allowed for engrammatic development from the relic iron on Mars. And I mean, so some of that quote unquote terraforming could be the Traveler introducing new elements into the planets. And
just getting on new planets, that'd be new elements.
Right. Yeah.
We've never been on Mars before. Now it's like, oh, we live here. This is it. This is our place.
So it sounds like from the comments that everybody made there, thinking about, how did the Traveler, like how did people learn from the Traveler? It sounds like we don't have this belief that the Traveler actually spoke to people.
Not. I would agree that it wasn't. And if it did quote, I mean, again, speak. Like communicate. Because communication can be so much more than just audible speech, right?
That's
right.
true.
In
But
the same
but
way
let's
that, like the Warminds speak to us through song or just different codes and whatnot. I mean, I think the Traveler probably spoke to us in ways that weren't
maybe dreams,
right?
Yeah,
of a alpha wolf, what?
Of apple pie.
Apple pie.
Mylan, how tired are you?
Yes. Don't start me a non-pink.
Hot alpha pie.
So I did a bit of research just now, and in the cutscene that happens before the homecoming mission in Destiny 2. I just wanted to clarify because I hadn't thought about this, and obviously it's like an animated cutscene, so it's I don't know how much you should rely on it, but the Traveler, when the darkness arrives, the Traveler is whole, even when the darkness, even when the attack is happening, the Traveler is whole. Yeah. It's when it says specifically, what's the text that it says? But the Traveler made a choice. It's sacrificed, destroyed its ancient enemy, and brought life to the ghosts. And that's the point where the image of the Traveler changes.
And that, I mean, right? No, and I think that's fair too, because that's the because they mention ghosts were created from the Traveler, like it gave itself to create the ghost, which. I have a few other obvious questions there. It's like, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. That's a very dangerous rabbit hole. Because again, you can create something from something else, and it doesn't mean that it created it. It meant that we could take pieces of it and create it for ourselves, which begs into question, what are ghosts exactly, which is a whole different tangent.
Let me actually ask you that question, though. Mylan, do you want to say something?
Oh, I was just going to add this last little bit for the how the traveler might communicate. The fact that we had a speaker and the speaker was accepted, it sort of leans towards that there was some, like if the traveler wasn't speaking to people during the golden age and then some dude came along and was, yeah, the traveler's speaking to me now, that would seem like really odd. But if it was sort of communicating regularly somehow and then someone's like, oh, now it only speaks to me. Do you know what I mean? It's almost sort of heading in that direction just by having a character that claims that there's communication there.
But I think you could also argue the opposite.
Did the speaker claim that the traveler spoke to him, or did the speaker claim? Well, but what the speaker
apparently
says,
he claims that he spoke for it.
yeah, which is a different thing. Like you could say, I am an advocate for the traveler. Like that doesn't mean that the traveler has ever spoken to me. You can have a person.
Yeah, so that might be the opposite of what I'm saying. Yeah, it might be more that it's never really communicated, and
maybe
so not so much. Not so much a speaker, more a listener.
So what about
for someone who's called a speaker? He doesn't speak much.
Speak factor much.
Remember in the Hardy cards, when they were like actually like preparing to go see the traveler, there were already cults of the traveler, like on
Moon
Earth,
X,
people who
the
were,
Moon
like,
X
worshiping
cults.
it.
Yeah.
What if that's basically how because like the Future War cult started as like a Vex thing, and it just proceeded throughout the Golden Age and or the Dark Age, and it got a little twisted along the way. What if that's the same thing with the speaker? Like a Moon X cult priest is like, the traveler speaks to me and it says blah 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 blah, and then it's like generation after generation, because there are more than one speaker. We've been told that by our ghost.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
they've just handed it down to our speaker, who's probably a little more like, the traveler doesn't actually speak to me, but I have a good feeling about what's best for humanity, and I'm being entrusted with that. And that's just kind of where he stands.
I mean, that's also where the speaker showed up, as far as we know, at the beginning of the Dark Age, where the world had ended. Well, yeah. So, but he started like after the world collapsed.
Yeah.
Right.
And came back. So if some guy steps up and he's wearing a cool mask and go, hey, the traveler is speaking to me, and everyone else is either dead or there's people coming back that are infused with light, everyone's probably going to go, oh, hey, he can talk to you? Yeah, let's follow you. Like, that sounds amazing. Because at that point, you have risen. So it's like, what can't happen at that point? What would people say? Oh, no, you can't talk to the traveler. But then again, like, oh, there's this guy who can die 1,000 times and still come back.
But
I like how the decision point was, oh, he's got a cool mask. Yeah, let's listen to it.
Right.
That's
entirely
my basis for
I mean, how else do you know who to listen to, Matt? I mean,
have you seen any Revolution TV show? It's always the person with the cool outfit.
Matt's just like,
kill me now.
But so what I wanted to ask before, what do you think the purpose of the ghosts actually were? Because so the traveler sacrificed itself to stop the darkness, and the traveler reawakening kind of reawoken at least the pyramid ships, whether that is directly the darkness or not. It reawoke those things that were attacking us in that moment. And it seems kind of like the ghosts were almost the loophole, where it's like the traveler's like, if I'm sleeping, but my ghosts are doing stuff, those things are going to be sleeping too. So it almost feels like to me that the ghosts were supposed to be like the actual representations of the traveler. They were supposed to guide humanity into salvation, or
so the fun headache that causes, though, is like, if the traveler was able to use ghosts to wake things up without waking the big bads up, how do we know that the big bads weren't doing the same thing?
Right. How do we know they're on Dark Guardian?
Yeah. Well, I mean, or the equivalent of, because like I'm like
played.
Anon's like, no. The triangle ships did not know it.
They were like, "Oh, sleeping." All right.
Everybody says, everybody says in the lore there's this thing about like equating guardians to the hive because of similar abilities to resurrect perpetually and a whole bunch of other stuff. I sit there and I think if you look back at a whole bunch of the other stuff that's referenced both in Cade's journals and potentially the sort of predator creatures from that Athenaeum world, if you're to believe both the Drifters' own stories and Callus's Chronicon, maybe you're looking at something which is closer to a darkness predator there. I say that knowing that I really don't trust the Chronicon. But,
right. Well, but we also have
the Drifter, at very least, I feel makes it more credible.
Right.
But I still think you could put the Hive in the category of an offshoot of soldiers of the darkness through their connection with the worm gods as being in that side of the fence, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And you also have the Black Armory mentions a couple of the predator creatures too. That you had like I think it was it Henriette when they were inside the bunker and the thing that unknown thing was trying to claw its way in and it couldn't. They called out. They're like it doesn't understand doors, but it kept trying to like dig into the bunker. And it smelled like, I think, what was it? It smelled like rotting earth or wet earth. Yeah.
Wet earth. Yeah.
What was that media? I don't know if it was a book, a movie, maybe someone here knows. Book, movie, TV show, I have no idea. Where there was basically like a cult of worshipers who were like, we're doing this for the big thing. And then the big thing comes up and they're like, we did all this for you. And the big thing's like, who the fuck are you? And it just like kills them.
I mean, is there a particular one?
Well, that's kind of what the Hive feels.
Every like, story Lovecraft is involved.
Yeah, I was going to say it. That the entire Cthulhu mythos is all people who worship a certain group of people who worship this unimaginable.
Force within the universe.
Yeah,
the force within the universe is so gargantuan, or that's ascended, or so above them, it just couldn't physically recognize them.
That's like Marvel.
It's just on such a high level that
that's like Marvel and Galactus right there. It's like who are you?
Yeah, I don't even know you.
Yeah, Cthulhu. Yeah. Yay! Give us back give us back the monitoring station you just took, please.
I mean, forget about Cthulhu at that point. If you're going to truly cosmic entities, intelligences that span it, you're thinking like Azathoth.
Yeah, Azathoth and Rhino. It feels like a conversation we had.
Yep.
God, I'm trying to remember the other names of the old gods.
We have, Rhino sent me an awesome cheat sheet on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yog-Sothoth, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the two that really come to mind. All the others, like Hastur and Nyarlathotep, are a little bit too small in the mythos into actual cosmic relevance. You know, like that. Don't get me wrong, Nyarlathotep is a big deal, but it's more single-minded as opposed to being like, hey, I am like an entire part of the cosmos type thing. You know. For those of you who don't know Old Gods mythos, read up on that stuff. It's really trippy.
Just don't read before you go to bed because that's going to be fun dreams.
You know what is miraculous and really shows and highlights our connected humanity globally are the different interpretations of the many stories that are shared throughout culture. I think one of the most beautiful things about all of the different mythos, whether you believe in them or not, or however you take them to heart, are the many ways that shared stories have evolved and branched off in their own ways, depending on regionally where you experience that story.
Yeah.
Just in and of itself. So, I mean, when you even think about the many differences in Greek mythology versus, other mythologies, and they all have a shared experience, but they have their own interpretations of it or side of the story.
I mean, that's like the Epic of Gilgamesh and like the various mirror forms of that particular epic, or the Odyssey, or the flood, if you will. Every mythos has every culture has an equivalent of that particular particular story, that creation myth, if you will.
On that note, cosmic egg creation myths
right
here
yeah
everywhere.
Yeah.
But this potentially also links up with, does everybody remember Lumina? There must be meaning in my roar, and how on the lore tab it states that eons ago the traveler heard our roar from across the deepness of space, right? I feel as though that might be one of those moments where if you link the two in this kind of tangential thing, you're able to sit there and briefly note like, hey, maybe the traveler was always in a way connected to us by our own raw potential.
Well, and that goes back to the interconnectedness of light as an underlying life force. And, dare I say it, the entire concept of the theory of intellectual design, right, is like we're, and this is kind of transcending into reality too, with the idea of theoretical or intellectual design, is like, was it that we created, or were we created, in that whole concept? So is the traveler actually a cedar ship? And that whole thing there, and it that would explain then the connection of light, because if the traveler is the source of light, because they were the ones that seeded the galaxy, then that would explain how the traveler is able to effectively increase the light without, necessarily being some quasi
so here
deifying.
was something that pulls up in my mind. Bungie plants, seeds of different mythological belief systems. All that stuff is in the lore as a way for you to combine and compile and have an understanding as to what's going on within our universe as far as Destiny is concerned. So with that preface, what I would like to say is that maybe it's akin to, like what Bife pointed out, the cosmic egg, but we are very much in an incubative state still. So we have to ascend to the higher realms in order to perceive them, just like the old ancient Vikings believed, where the entire system of existence was contained within a sphere, within a sphere, within a sphere, within a sphere. And in order to ascend, you had to become a part of that next realm, right? So
right.
Here you are with the world tree, and your environment is very much your experience here on this one plane. In order to ascend to the next plane, you have to evolve and grow. And a lot of other belief systems have this kind of inside their fundamental architecture as far as the way that they craft and spread their belief. But so just taking that as kind of a clue or a hint as to the how and the where and the why Guardians are able to ascend using the Traveler, if you were to recognize the Traveler's light as an interconnected force that flows throughout the entire universe, not just the universe, but on many different layered realms, you are now able to see a pathway to another realm. So we ascend, we grow stronger, we become legendary, right? We are growing, we are learning new tricks along the way, and as we do that, new threats, new enemies are finding us because we're able to perceive. Yeah. And we're still in a very
everything.
Yeah.
Well, and that goes back. Yeah, that goes back to the Guardians make their own fate.
And then that also makes sense if you think about Light Beyond. It's Light Beyond Nemesis, right?
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah, even the name is kind of an implication of the idea of interconnectedness there. But if that is how Pratia Samutpada works, that's awesome.
It's similar into a certain point. A lot of the ancient Hindus believe that the cosmic egg is everything that you experience to a point is meant for you. It's very solipsistic, right? So if you were to live your entire life and then die and come back as another being, let's just say, let's just stop with the animals and let's just say you come back as a human, and that everything that you experienced was a humanity experience. In order for you to come back, you have to be reincarnated as another human. Well, time is irrelevant. This is not a linear thing. You don't die today and then come back tomorrow in our timeline as an infant born the next day. You can come back as somebody born in 900 BC, or you can come back as somebody born in the 50s. And until you've lived every single life of every single human that's ever existed on the earth, only then, and you've had every single experience, such as living as Hitler, such as living as, Barack Obama, or, whoever, living as Bife. You've lived every single life that has ever existed. Only then, and once that's happened, you're able to ascend to godhood.
Because only then do you understand the interconnectedness of it all.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
The main thing I got from that is Bife's on the same level as Hitler and Barack Obama.
Those are the three personalities. They're somewhere on the triangle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
You've got the really bad, you've got the good, and you've got somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
So I think the original. I'm not going to repeat the original question because that would just.
What was the original question?
I was going to say that would just throw into stark focus how off topic we've gotten. So the original question was: ever since the traveler woke up again, did it do anything? And how did people communicate with it? So, I
think our answer is yes.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
the next
50 minutes of explanation, revisit the question, 5-second answer, go.
What?
So, the next question on the list is a very...
The answer is yes.
The next question is very... Well, okay. The next question is, law-wise, what is your favorite exotic?
And we're going to be here for another 5 hours.
Well, we can try and keep this one brief.
Mm-hmm.
I like your optimism. I like your optimism.
I mean, briefer, I don't know.
I have one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sunshot.
Ooh.
Sunshot is my favorite exotic because when you pair Sunshot with Sunbracers, it actually tells a really interesting story about the Sunbreaker.
That's true.
What's it called? Order of Titans?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's really bad at naming things.
No, because so the Sunbreakers,
I'm a Sunbreaker, so sun.
The Sunbreakers don't exist within the city. They're their own thing, but they don't want people to just forget about them. So they leave gifts for people to find, such as the Sunbracers, which comparing these two together, that's how you get it. And so they're like, these are the Sunbreakers, the Sunbreakers. And it's like, that's a dumb name. I'm going to call them Sunbracers. And it's like, no, but come find us. We're out there. And I love that. As
also, we're for hire.
Yeah. Just love that little story it has.
No, come find us.
What a great way to cover up a boo-boo.
Does anybody else have a... did my camera freeze?
I don't think you can go past Touch of Malice just for how that rounded off the Books of Sorrow and the completeness of that exotic.
That was really good, yeah.
I mean, super good advice is pretty close. Answer. Super good advice from a lore perspective is pretty close.
No.
Because it introduced the entire... you have, super good advice, Darcy... What's the other one? The sentient weapons, basically, that have the community of weapons that exchange information about their wielders. They're like, oh no, we have opinions about you. We judge you.
And we see you using nothing but shotguns.
By the way, I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but inside the Armory database, there are many weapons with AI constructs within them.
Well, there's the what is it? Is it an uncommon rifle that's you can use this as a ship navigation system. If you plug the rifle into your jump ship and it's it can do the jump ship AI, and it's wait, hang on, what?
Meanwhile, Mida doesn't even have a functioning compass.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it functions. It's just
we're not sure what it's pointing at.
Yeah.
East? I thought you said Weast.
I mean,
what was the weapon?
What it's pointing at? I don't know.
What was the weapon in D1 that we had to use a black market coupon and give it to Zur in order to get it?
Bad juju.
That was
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are my black market coupons? I need some more.
Dude, that's
whenever I'm shopping on the black market, I have my coupon.
I mean, I do like bad juju actually. I
actually have a number 2 though.
Oh really?
Tied.
I mean, that wasn't part of the question, but fine. You can have 2. Go.
Well,
so 3 of them tied together, and Matt reminded me of them. Raise Lighter, Dark Drinker, and the other one, because they're the 3 aspects of Willbreaker.
The other one.
The other one.
What is the other one? I wish it was called the other one. That would be
Life is like, what?
And the other one. Sorry, dude. You lost me there.
Control Alt Delete caster.
Each of their mechanics are an aspect of Oryx's original sword, Willbreaker, which I just think is awesome. That like we take this shard and we get like a piece of Oryx's actual sword, like physically and spiritually.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm really looking forward to meeting Eris again.
So
is that the next question?
No, I was just thinking about
You're just getting fuzzy.
the whole quest around the swords, is kicked off. Well, I think it's kicked off by Eris, but then it's mostly Shaxx after.
Yeah, because Shaxx is the one who actually understands how to create swords.
Yeah.
So
I
don't want to do an exotic.
All right.
I want to do legendary.
Well, it seems like everybody's just doing what they want, so it's fine. Go by it.
Your favorite.
Baxter, you're gonna love me when I name what it is.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Perfect paradox. There you go.
Ah.
Because we're back to the nonsense of paradoxes and causal loops and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
AKA the gym particle shotgun.
I do. I loved getting perfect paradox. I think it's. I don't know. I just think it's a great weapon. Well, okay. I mean, I don't really care about how it is as a weapon. I just love Saint 14. The whole everything about it is awesome. That whole environment.
This guy.
The 2.
Baxter's like, I'm gonna hang on. I'll be right back.
It's so good. The whole that scene that they created for Saint 14. It's kind of when I first learned about Saint 14, I was really keen on meeting this character, but like it's so easy to be disappointed when you meet a character, and I think as much as I still want to find a way,
never meet your heroes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as much as I still want there to be some sort of way that we do beat Saint 14, I think that whole environment was just awesome. It was a great experience.
I still hold to the crazy idea, and this is why you're going to hate me for it, that we are supposed to travel back in time, and we are supposed to hand the shotgun to him, and it is a causal loop, and it is just doesn't exist until you remake it.
But only after you hit 86 miles an hour.
It's
like
I've seen some Sparrows go way faster than that.
Have you seen a Warlock skate?
88 miles an hour. Thank you,
we can go fast, my dude.
I knew
a Warlock skated once, blacked out, woke up in this carriage. This guy said, "You're finally awake." There's this guy who was just like gagged and he wasn't saying anything, and then we're in this town and I was getting executed, and then this dragon came along, and I was like, "What the hell's going on? This isn't the game I remember."
There is an Exo that can taste speed.
Yeah, that is true.
Is. Oh man, like a strange kind of synesthesia. Okay, total complete tangent. Do you reckon an Exo that can taste speed as a kind of synesthesia is a humanism that's programmed as a part of like deferring DER?
Or is it a glitch?
Or do you think it was a glitch?
Or is it right? Which because I could see both. That would be so cool if that was actually a thing, right? Where they deliberately programmed "quote unquote" imperfections or oddities,
just to keep the DER from setting in.
Yeah, right.
Sure, I would.
Like,
I could see that.
Always does this. He's still got that same quirk of a bit of a stutter or something, right? Like
now all I have
sense.
is now all I have, to be honest, is Ralph Breaks the Internet, and what's the little princess Vanessa? Is it Vanessa? Vanellope, the glitch. She has that glitch.
You weren't even close.
Oh yeah.
Whatever.
That's another V.
Listen, it's a V name. I don't. Nah.
The Stranger
film.
is a glitch.
I love that Green literally reacted exactly as I thought. Oh no! God damn it!
So with that exo thought in mind, my favorite exotic is the Monarch, just because the flavor text is just that moment of Ada becoming an exo and kind of seeing the world new, and someone like rubbing her back, like, oh shoot, you're a robot, like you're not who I thought you were. And just kind of that interesting moment.
I do that all the time. It's so embarrassing.
You massage robots.
Much as I know people weren't as hyped as they could have been regarding the storyline of Black Armory,
That was my favorite
I think
story.
That particular passage and those like moments set around it, both from the Black Armory papers and from the lore tab, it's just one of the most beautiful little moments that I think has ever been created in this world.
Yeah.
Who's the guy? Does anyone remember his name? I can't pronounce it. It's like French.
What? The
That
guy?
doesn't narrow it down.
The writer.
The writer of. I
yeah,
don't remember.
Guillaume.
Oh,
Is his
Guy?
name?
Guy? At
Is that
Bungie?
There's a lot more letters in there than
No. Are you talking about the guy at Bungie?
Yeah.
Guy Common? Yeah. He just goes by Guy.
Yeah. Okay. Well then, Guy,
he's
like absolutely like
nailed
people
it.
hate on. I just want to say because people hate on Black Armory much more than it deserves. Black Armory was such a like exactly what Bife said. It was such a beautiful story. It was so personal and so like intimate, and it was my favorite of these small DLC stories, like Dark Below, House of Wolves, any of the seasons, Curse of Osiris, Warmind, etc. So hats off to Guy because that was so great.
I liked the amount of information that it also contained within the Black Armory papers was actually really cool, because it gave us a glimpse into like the golden age and the actual collapse. Like it actually
and the dark age, like the beginning of it all. It was
right.
So much.
And it was from a perspective of a non-risen, right? It was like it was a normal human being being like, oh my God, what is going on?
Yeah.
And the only reason Black Armory is not super popular is just because the challenge, the challenge rating was just too high. But like, but like other than that, like the gameplay, the whole story, everything I think is so beautiful. It's just the challenge level was too high for everything. But other than that, like everything is so beautiful about that expansion.
Yeah. When Luke said this is how Black Armory could have gone and is.
I
was like, fuck away from my Black Armory.
Oh damn.
Well, I have a weapon. I have a
right.
weapon real quick.
Okay.
So it's not exotic and it's not even legendary.
It's not even a weapon, actually.
Wait. Before you say anything, BNGL Stalker.
You got it. How?
Because I have one in my vault too, and I'm holding onto it forever because it is precious.
How in the hell, bud?
That was a good one.
Because I'm psychic, bud. Because the minute you said it's not even legendary, I was like, it's either Hard Luck 50 or Hard Luck 52 or it's BNGL Stalker. Only two rare weapons.
It's Stalker. And here's my reasoning for it. Because when I first started playing Destiny D1, I was running around on Venus because I learned that if you farmed in a circle in one of the areas, you could get enough materials or whatever just to get, because we were all stuck, in the 30s or whatever. And so I went out there by myself. I didn't have any friends or any knowledge as far as the game goes. And we're talking like week 3. And I had just heard about Vault of Glass coming out and all this stuff. And I realized that there was actually a story to this game. And one of the things I was doing was I was running in a circle and I was cursing Bungie. as I was doing that farm, I was like, this is so stupid. I hate this game. Why do I have to run around in a circle finding all these materials just to get to the next level? And then I got a gun and it said Stalker. But I saw BNG as if it was Bungie at first. And I thought, my God, Bungie is listening to me as I'm doing this and cursing their name.
That was a brilliant random story.
But in all seriousness,
that was a brilliant random story.
Yeah, yes, but in all seriousness, that was the weapon that expanded my mind to Destiny lore and got me interested into figuring out what the hell all of these things were in this game. So, hats off to Bungie for giving me a random rare. And it was very unique because the only one with the tiger on it.
Yeah, that was completely unique. Like one person slipped that in, and they're like, "And this."
Yeah.
And I'm both glad and sad that it never made it to a legendary because BNGL Stalker is unique as a result. But if it had made that way, oh man,
you should come back to some exotic.
Yeah.
There's so many weapons, so many commons and rares that they could just bring back in, and nobody would even know, and just think that they were new.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know, like in when I get a blue or whenever I get a blue item, I kind of I don't even try it, you know? I'm just like...
No, you delete it immediately.
Yeah, it's probably not good.
What's funny is that some of the best stories are in the blues. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No. I was just going to say, do we have time for another question?
Probably just...
Oh, that's a very good
As
question.
long as it's not the one below where you are highlighting right now.
Well, you see, if we do this one,
that's
not really.
That's gonna be a dangerous one. But we could probably do Vault. Are you talking Vaults?
Yeah, we could do Vaults, but I mean, it was kind of a joke question.
I have a question.
Yes. Oh,
from
no.
the thing.
Well, oh man. Okay, that's just another variable, Anon.
I have a question. Oh no!
It's from the form.
Which? Can you highlight the?
I very well can, but I won't.
All right. Cool.
This is the risk.
Do you want to just ask it then? I don't know.
Flip the coin.
All right, you guys ready for this one?
Yeah.
Okay, so this question comes. This question, so those are the names there. It comes from Calibrations.
Okay.
Whether we wanted it or not, we've started to a war with the Cabal. I actually do. If you are looking for one, I actually do have one that would be.
Well, you see the tab at the bottom that says chosen question.
Yeah, I was there. Those are boring.
All right.
Those are boring.
Well, I mean, you got to vote just like everybody else.
Yeah, and I picked two that I voted on.
Did you vote for that one?
Yeah.
Whether we wanted it or not?
Yeah, of course I did.
Oh my god! Why did we let you vote?
Sonny, you should have chosen to use it wisely.
I think we all just died inside a little bit after that meme.
But I do actually have what I think is an actually good one. It is highlighted if you want to confirm.
The
the
petite Spartan one.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Okay. So from Tyler, has there been any instance of a child guardian?
Oh yeah, that one. There has been.
There absolutely has been.
His name is Shin.
Yes.
His name is very likely to be Shin.
Extremely.
I'm like it's like 95%. Like
very much 99. But
well, fair.
They deliberately. I think the whole point of it was when the commentary was actually given by the devs. I would want to say it's John Goff that said this.
It was.
It was. Which
he says
he's the one who wrote
to
it.
Provoke thought, but it's not supposed to deliberately confirm outright that was Shin. Because, like the parents die in the same way they're carried off by dregs. And
but when we talked to him, because we actually talked to him about that because we had him on with in-game. It was actually not a Destiny podcast that we had him on, but it's John, so we got to talking about Destiny. And he basically came out and was like, no, it's Shin. Like all of the confluence is like he's like yes, technically you're correct. There's like the 1% chance that if something happens, they have the ability to change it, but the intent behind it was Shin. That was Shin's like explanation of origin. The only question
I can't find the actual tweets where I was pestering him about it.
And he said the same thing.
He was saying like, it's really hard because you never know who wrote what. Like, I wrote the Dwindler's Ridge, but did I write this Baby Guardian card, Confessions of Hope? And then he goes, yes, I did. Yes. Okay.
At which point you sit there and you're like,
yeah.
Okay.
I don't want it to be Shin.
Why?
No, I need it to be Shin.
Why? Why?
I need to close this loop.
I know, exactly.
There are still people out there who are going, Jaren's ghost picked another Guardian. That's just what can happen. And it's like, no, it can't. Oh my God. Like, no, it can't.
I mean, dude, it's what you're forced to do if you're sitting there with ambiguity. I put that in my last word video because you can't confirm it because you don't know. Right?
Well, and the debate that it always
we know, but we don't know, so to speak. So it's like you've sadly got to keep the insincerity with it there.
What's the problem? What's the problem with ghosts being able to pick other?
Okay,
I don't know.
Non's having like a fit over here.
Did I upset you?
Listen, I smell burnt toast. I don't.
Yeah. I'm smelling almonds.
Like, what is wrong with a ghost being able to? If a guardian is drained of their light, what is wrong with the ghost being able to pick another guardian?
And that's the debate that we actually just had on. I was going to bring that up too. Is like, so with the Shin, like putting aside Confessions of Hope for a second, with Shin, are we comfortable in saying, like, one of the debates that we got into is Jaren's ghost, who is now with Shin, is Jaren's ghost available to resurrect him if he were to die?
I don't believe so.
So is the general thought that Shin just has not been defeated? He's still on. So he would be in the category of Eris. But he's just got a BFF that's a ghost.
Mm-hmm. I'd imagine that his ghost would be, or Jaren's ghost would be able to heal him if anything happens. Because that's like, I'm a doctor. You're healed. The resurrection,
just like real life.
That's exactly how doctors work. So glad we were there for that explanation, Baxter.
I went to med school. I know all that.
Yeah, I think needs to stay. I think it needs to stay that ghosts are fundamentally tied to one particular person at any given moment, and in order to go on to another, they'd have to tie to that other.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't have a problem with the idea that under exceptional circumstances, where a bond between a ghost and a guardian is broken by something else.
Right.
That a ghost couldn't then pick another guardian if the ghost survived that break.
The sad reality is we don't know, right?
We don't know. I mean, but I just for me, I feel as though, I don't know. I just have a clear idea of, in my head. I'm happy with my understanding of how everything happened during the whole Dwindler's Ridge saga, and adding in this other element where actually, Shin. I don't know. I just.
But so in the Dwindler's Ridge saga, both Dredge and Yor and Jaren Ward identified Shin as being something abnormal, being something different, not human. Not human is my word. I don't want to put ideas in people's head. That is my word. But they've identified that Shin is not the norm. The norm.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. That's fine. But I don't think that has to be that he is a guardian.
Well, I think your shirt is dumb.
Yeah.
Got him.
Thanks.
Got him.
Wow.
I think your shirt is
we're there.
wonderful, by the way, Baxter.
It is actually a really nice
Thanks,
shirt.
bye.
You should show it off because it's hidden behind your mic. It looks like it says banana.
It looks like it says
It
banana.
It says banana and earth
And om.
Oh yeah, I have a bone to pick with you on one of your
Omatite.
shirts. You misspelled pancake. You put his name as
Yeah,
Pahanin, and that's not correct. His name is Pancake.
Yeah. I'll fix that.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right.
With tape.
Nice.
Yeah, with a piece of
Yeah,
paper
put tape over it.
and a pen.
A Sharpie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Chat
That's
wants
not
you
good.
to
I feel as though
chat wants you to put pay in
Oh, no.
is what the name that it should be.
Oh god. Oh no.
Baxter, the audible pain of Baxter there.
Pence is like
no.
Okay, well anyway, I mean it doesn't really bother me that much if it turns out that is Shane.
Mhm.
I just it's
That's good because
everything
it kind of is.
no. It's okay.
I don't think. I'm looking at.
I just love that.
I
it's
gotta
fine.
say though, I'm looking at Matt. I don't think he's actually awake.
No, I was about to say, is Matt falling asleep?
Sorry.
He's just painted eyeballs onto his closed eyelids. Genius.
I'm here.
I'm here.
I'm here.
Lol.
I think we did it.
Yeah, I think we survived.
Okay.
That's it. This is the tweet.
The tweet.
Oh yeah. The tweet from John.
Oh, I see.
What? No.
What?
What tweet?
Never mind.
Okay. Chat.
We're not
Chat
in
is
Alabama.
Chad
You
is
never- you
equating
never earned-
Baxter's acceptance of Shin's childhood as also. I don't mind if the Earth doesn't turn out to be flat.
It's not the same at all.
I don't know, man. Chat said it. I'm
Hey,
pretty
so
sure
we got-
everything that I'm pretty sure that everything that chat says is absolutely
It's
true.
absolutely true. Absolutely true.
I thought
Like,
we were
I
on the
mean,
same
It's just
side. Really.
look at that. Everything chat says. To this point. After this point, who knows? But to this point, everything said in chat is absolutely true.
Oh man.
I'm gonna
So-
just scroll back and find some things. That
Oh no. Bye, Spencer. Deep research. Where's it going?
It's like, forget
So we
this
got
I've got
through-
this Twitch chat here.
we got through 3 questions and we added what 10?
Yeah, not bad.
A few.
Yeah.
A few.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, we just really started answering our own questions. Which is
I actually found another question. This one's from
Oh,
Jonathan
no.
Toe. Should we ask? this
Oh
one?
yeah, that one.
Oh.
hang
Question
on, let
from
me.
Junto.
Let's just get him in the call really fast.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Oh, I was completely kidding, but okay. Is it the one I have highlighted here?
Well, I mean, it's hard to know. You see, nobody else is logged into Google, so you appear as a dinosaur. I think.
That's a turtle.
Well,
I see you as anonymous.
look, there's
He
one
just
person,
leaves.
There's one person.
Baxter just like camera just goes. Bloop.
I've had enough. That's it. There's one person who's a panda, one person who's a turtle, and one person who's a dinosaur. And the dinosaur person is the only one who's not on the chosen questions tab.
I only have you, the panda, and the turtle. Oh,
Because
I think
you're
I'm
the,
the turtle.
dinosaur. Oh my god.
Mylan is having the weirdest fever dream right now. It's like they're arguing about pandas and turtles.
What
this
is
is-
happening?
this is- I feel like
Wake up tomorrow and be like, I was on a podcast where we were talking about a Google.
You know, I take offense to the fact that they attribute my anonymous to other animals. Like I've already established it.
Yeah.
So this one, the one that I'm highlighting, the dinosaur,
Mhm.
for Jonathan Toe. This was just meant to
Mm.
piss you off, but okay. When will we see Destiny in other media, namely novels, which comes to mind since I love the Halo novels? There is so much lore and backstory that can be explored.
It's a good question.
I don't know. Hey, Matt,
I
can
hope
you look behind
answer that
you?
personally.
Matt, isn't there something behind you that you might have been part of in another medium?
Yeah. I mean, I asked that question when the anthologies were pitched to me with Christopher Barrett, basically.
Mhm.
I was like, because I didn't know what they meant yet. I was like, oh, you mean like Halo novels? They're like, no, we mean like the stuff we've already written. So there was definitely no plan at that stage to have novels. I don't know if that could have changed. I think the way they're going with the books, you basically have
Yeah.
books in the game anyway. I don't really see a need to create another,
Well, they have the web comics
novels
Mhm.
and the web comics, and
Yeah.
now that they're printing them hard copy, I don't. There was an issue before where they weren't organized, and so they were difficult to collate into books, and that's why they asked me to help out
Yeah.
with it. Once you get through the D1 content, you've basically got books to print,
Right.
and the work's already done. So
I would love to see
Um,
like just actual physical books of the books, like in game, like get a Maracena book or a Maracena book, Dreaming
Mhm.
City book, Drifter's Gambit book, a Most Loyal book, and like I will buy all of these. I don't care. Like a shelf of Destiny books.
I'm
That are
with you
just-
on that one.
yeah, well, I mean that was, I actually don't know what the decision was in that, but that was with the help that I was giving them. We started to get to that point now. We're like, okay, do you just print books now, or do we mix some? Like there were certain ones that don't fit, like ghost stories. So
Mhm.
like if you start a trend of just printing the book, what do you do with just ghost stories, where sometimes they might be really relevant to put them in other sections, and you're like,
Mhm.
well, that would be way better for the lay audience to elsewhere. But if you start a trend with printing just
Yeah, I
the
mean, like,
books in their sort of totality, then maybe Ghost Stories goes in a separate volume with the other smaller books. Maracena gets its own book and go from there.
right? Because I mean,
wasn't
like,
there a post about like talking about doing more stuff like that? Like I thought there was a post about doing more like comics and things and like spreading out and trying other mediums for Destiny like 3 months ago.
Well, I mean that's what they did with
I know.
the second half of Cade 6 and the third comic of Osiris. Like there are 2 comics that are only available in the comic collection, and it seems like they might be doing away with the web comic system. They might make like a 15 comic book of individual stories and then push that out.
Yeah, I didn't think they really understood how successful it was probably going to be with the hard print, or how much demand there was going to be honest. And I think that really has encouraged them to look at that area more. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's more in that area, because the amount of support the anthology got was like, they sold out, which means they didn't order enough, which means you exceeded expectations.
I mean, people have
So-
been printing their own like lore books and their own like grimoire novels. Like people have posted all their own stuff,
Yeah.
and printed
Like-
stuff.
I mean,
don't
I
know about
have,
you guys,
yeah.
but I've got like a bootleg grimoire on my shelf or 2 here or there. So like,
I mean, right
definitely
there on my
something.
video feed, you can see that we've been given like just basic print copies of the entries, and I've put them into my own binders because it's like it's just easier for physical editions. Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah.
Like
Me
Yep.
too. Like, see, I got it right here. It's everything.
Yeah.
It's all in there, man.
Yep.
Like I literally have my own like printed grimoire novel that I've done, and a lot of other people have done their own. So I mean, it's
fact,
definitely people.
I
What?
have one sec.
Oh, here we go.
Hold on.
I was like, people just like,
well, since we're just measuring, I got the.
But I mean, people have been craving physical versions of Destiny forever.
Oh, yeah.
And even like the Grimoire that's digital, like, you can find all of it online. Like, people still want a physical
there's this
version
really cool
'cause there's nothing
website that does
replaces
that. There's this website that does that.
What's it called? I don't know.
There he is. Baxter's like not paying attention. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, long story short, I have your one actually.
Oh,
but I can't find it. Yours, Guardian 21. But I can't find it. How am I?
Somewhere.
Whoa, what the fuck? What? Guardian, you gave one to Bife? You didn't give one to me?
I don't remember.
It's a long story short.
That was so long ago. I don't know.
It's a long
years, man.
I think
we've been friends for years, and this is where it gets.
I'm not sure that's mine. I think there was someone else who printed it. I don't know if it's mine exactly.
Yeah, you might. I think you.
But it was printed by someone else.
Yeah. It might. Yeah.
Because I got the email.
The whole legal thing about you can't actually print these without Bungie permission.
Yeah, like I actually had like Deej like message me and like, hey, so here's the deal with that. I'm
Don't do
okay,
that.
Good to know.
Don't do that anymore. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, bye.
I think one of the coolest things with the anthology though was the artwork that they put in.
Yeah,
and the little forewords for each section.
And the letter from Callum, like the letters that were introducing the different sections, I thought those were unique too.
The forewords for each section.
Yeah, the forewords for each section. Yeah. I'm gonna let you finish, but hang on.
I also love those little paragraphs that they put in front of each section. That was really cool.
I'm gonna let you finish, but we're gonna
volume 2. I think
they said October
should have more artwork apparently. So we had a bit of a limit on how much should be in volume 1. They definitely didn't. Yeah, I'm not too sure if it's the same artist, but volume 1 was pretty much testing the waters, and volume 2, we submitted it ages ago, so they had pretty much everything ready, and it was just like you can work on artwork for like a year basically
Man, I'm so excited.
Publication. So I haven't seen any of the artwork yet, so it should be cool.
As soon as I saw that you were working on that, Mylan, I got so excited and I just like freaked out. Like, oh my gosh, it's happening! Like,
yeah, I was definitely freaked out. That's for sure.
But I think that's at least what's happening. They know people want it.
Yeah.
Oh man, so you want to wrap up and say this was a success?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I hear someone's making breakfast.
This was a success.
That's my girlfriend.
That's
lunch.
Lunch. Okay.
Well, I think this was a great success.
I think we'll do another one.
It very much felt like Loose Cannon, just with more people. So it was super fun.
Which is great.
It's an absolute success.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair,
we're just coming here.
Yeah, to be fair, that's exactly kind of what even like, and I think again, this is kind of what our conversations behind the scenes with each other are also a lot like too, is like just the casualness of just bringing it all together. And yeah, Pins is throwing links up over in chat for everyone to make sure. But again, we'll be getting the archive out to everybody who is on here to distribute to so their YouTubes. Bife, Mylan, Loose Cannon. I know Rhino had to take off. Rhino doesn't have a YouTube for the Armory Defined, I don't think. I know he has a Twitter.
I don't think so.
Okay.
He has his Etsy store where I got those knives at his show.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We'll be sure to include links to everybody's, like at least at Love Ruin's Twitter handle, so you can find their various links there as well. So
there I am. I'm right behind Baxter. I was a little hurt with my name.
It's a solid wall of text over there in the chat right now.
I was looking.
But so yeah, I mean that's pretty much what we're going to be doing. Like I said, we're going to try to do it. I think every quarter. So that's where the name, the quarterly lore review, kind of comes from.
So moving forward, though, are we going to continue with what we were kind of talking about, where it's going to be actually reviewing the previous quarter?
I think, it's going to be a little less chaotic because, like, it was funny when we were talking about like this one in particular. I know everyone was like Shadowkeep, and then thankfully Bungie did a really nice thing and pushed it back, so I didn't have to have that debate anymore. Because it was like, because Shadowkeep was coming out in September, and it was like, I know Bife and Mylan were like, yeah, schedules are dead. Like, schedules after this.
Do you think that Anthology 2 is going to get pushed as well? Because it was originally supposed to ship in October, but now if D2 is in October, is Anthology 2 pushed?
No. The Volume 2. Sorry, my internet broke up.
I mean, is Volume... Well, if Volume 1 had a lot to do with the Hive, Volume 2... If Volume 2 is about the Vex...
No, Volume 2 is Fallen Kingdoms.
I know well, unless it's been changed because it has been a while, but the contents of Volume 2 won't spoil Shadowkeep.
Okay, so then it shouldn't have to be delayed. Okay, awesome.
Unless, well, the only
they did call it Fallen Kingdom. Oh my God! Wait, it's Fallen?
I mean, that's what I assumed it was. It said Fallen Kingdoms. I love Mylan's face.
Well, it's. I can't say anymore. Just wait.
Sorry,
no. What I was gonna say.
I'm not trying to like wheedle anything out of you. That'd be. It's like you got roofied or something, man.
We got him now. Got him good.
The only thing that could impact it would be those forewords or the little previews at the beginning of chapters, because I don't have any control over them. That's what narrative writes before they publish. So, but I don't think that would contain too much either.
Those are the best parts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just really joking.
So this is how we get answers from Matt going forward, is just schedule everything so it's
like at times I think he's
trying to weaken me.
More of you, and that's why it's so very sadly inconvenient that it's a visit.
You know what's going to happen? This is what's going to happen, right? Next time we're going to do a midday Australia, and all you guys will be fucking 2 a.m., 1 a.m., and everyone can be inconvenienced by my time zone, and I'll be the only awake person.
Just move.
Just move, yeah.
Wow. It's that easy, man.
Oh, so yeah, we'll be doing these we're gonna try to get a schedule for it to be pretty regular. So we'll be doing that, and then, like I said, we'll be archiving these for everyone. However best you normally consume content, that'll be out there. TheLoreNetwork.com will be where, like, the main part of the article. I'll put together one similar to what we did with the Q&A and the lore panel. I'm going to probably put a post up there, have everyone else's links on there, just because that way everyone can go wherever they like and, see all of it. But yeah, we'll let Matt go get some sleep. I know everyone else probably has other stuff to do for the rest of the day. You good, Matt?
Oh.
Okay, cool.
That's about as good as we're going to get from Matt, I think.
But yeah.
I'm sorry.
No.
Like, it does suck to be... Yeah,
because I think
normally I would be. It wouldn't matter too much at this time. It's not terribly late, but it's been a absolutely jam-packed weekend.
I was about to say, you had a big weekend too. So
all right, guys. You guys know that Rhino made a micro mini?
Yes, I did see that.
I just saw that. He just painted it. It looks amazing.
Yeah, I want one.
It looks like it's about this big.
Yeah.
For audio listeners, it's about this big. Just so
it's really a micro mini.
Oh man. All right, so stream, and next time I promise I'll have an overlay that doesn't decide to hide a particular guest of ours. Though I don't. Anyways, so yeah, next time we'll do better. Is the goal? Is always do better the next time. So we appreciate everyone coming out, jumping on the stream. Thank you everyone who was joining us. We'll try to get, we might even get some rotation on who is available, based off the conversation. But they're all telling me to get off. So stream, you have a great one, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.